Welcome everyone to a word from Cornerstone Counseling. It seems that, due to the pandemic, most of us are experiencing a change in our summer plans that has caused us to give up or alter something we had looked forward to for a while. Maybe it was a wedding or a milestone birthday celebration, or a vacation that you had been saving up for. It can be frustrating when we have to give up something that we looked forward to. This past Tuesday, I experienced a once-in-a-lifetime event that I have been looking forward to with mixed emotions for some time. Are you ready for this? I enrolled in Medicare. While I am looking forward to having good benefits at a lower cost, knowing that I have reached the age that I qualify for these benefits has caused me to think a lot. The fact that I am getting older and the whole aging process. So today, I would like to share with you some lessons that I am learning as I begin to experience Medicare benefits using the acronym AGE. First of all, A. Age is a mindset. This past year, leading up to when I was eligible to enroll in Medicare, I have been barraged with mail, phone calls, and text trying to convince me of a particular Medicare plan that is available. It was interesting to see the contrasting illustrations that would be in some of the info mail I received. Some pictures portrayed older people as being on cruises, walking on the beach, or playing board games with groups of people. Other literature portrayed a person considered to be a senior citizen as lying in a bed or sitting in a wheelchair being doted on by a younger adult. Both could be accurate depictions of what getting older is like. But what really determines how a person ages is their mindset, what they choose to believe about getting older. The great theologian George Burns, who lived to be 100 years old, had a great philosophy. You can't help getting older, but you don't have to get old. Age truly is a state of mind. I have known people in their 80s and 90s who live active, happy lives, most often in spite of physical ailments. They accept their stage in life and seek to be content in their circumstances. They play games, they serve others in some capacity, and probably most importantly, they have maintained a sense of humor and laugh often. I have also known some young people who behave just the opposite. They do not enjoy life, they can't wait to quit work or retire, causing them not to enjoy the present. And their attitude is one of believing that life is just passing them by and there's very little to live for. The Bible teaches us in Proverbs 23:7 that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Meaning that what we think about or how we act indicates what's in our heart. I love when I hear my 4-year-old granddaughter tell me about things that happened to her when she was a little girl. In her mind, she is much older and wiser and is proud of the fact that she has matured to the ripe old age of being almost 5. How wonderful if older people can have that same heart attitude, to be able to look back on their former years and reflect on them, but be thankful for where they are now. Mark Twain was quoted saying, "Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter." And if you can look past some of the aches and pains and limitations that getting older brings and learn to live with them in a healthy way, life will not necessarily be easier, but it can be better. I say this especially for those of you who experience chronic pain as an older adult. I know what it is like to experience chronic pain. There is not a moment that goes by every day that I do not hurt. And it can be very wearying and emotionally exhausting. And there are several things that I do to help me cope with this pain. First of all, I exercise, even when I don't feel like it. Getting up and walking or doing stretching exercises is the exact opposite of what I feel like doing most days, especially first thing in the morning. However, my feelings can deceive me, and I have to not give in to them and do what I know is best and what's going to help me feel better. Secondly, I like to quote and meditate on Scripture. There are two verses in particular that help me to keep a biblical perspective about my pain. First of all, 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you but such as is common to man, and God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will provide a way of escape that you may be able to endure it. In other words, God knows how much I can bear, and He will give me the grace to deal with my pain in a godly way. The other verse that I really like to meditate on is 2 Corinthians 4:16 through 18. Paul, writing to the Corinthian church, tells about the hope he has in Jesus Christ. He says, "Therefore, we do not lose hope. Though outwardly we are wasting away, inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary afflictions are achieving for us an eternal weight of glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. For what is seen is temporal, but what is unseen is eternal." These verses help me to keep my mind focused on the benefits of getting older. And speaking of benefits, G stands for great benefits. Going on Medicare definitely has some benefits, and in the plans that I have chosen to enroll in, I will be spending less than half of what we were spending on medical insurance for me and receive better coverage. There are other benefits to aging that extend past what Medicare offers. Some of those benefits include an ability to understand what is truly important in life. It has been said that the best thing about getting older is that we learn to ignore the lies of the ego to enjoy more the reality of the heart. Material items and stuff that we thought was so necessary to have and maybe even boosted our esteem become less important, while people and relationships become more of a priority, as well as more treasured and valued. Like biting into a chocolate Easter bunny only to find it hollow, many people recognize as they get older the pursuit of wealth and pleasure ends up being very unfulfilling, and realize there is something more, something not seen, that alone can fill a void. That something is faith in God. Solomon experienced this. His life began very well. In fact, he became what some people consider to be the wisest person that ever lived. But that wisdom became clouded in the pursuit of pleasure and prosperity. That is what the book of Ecclesiastes is all about. At the end of his life, Solomon comes full circle and states, "Here's the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil." From the moment we are born, we begin the aging process. Every day brings us a little bit closer to eternity. This is a process that is rarely thought about when we are young. It's so easy to take life for granted, and time goes so fast. Yesterday, I was 40, and now I'm applying for Medicare. In Psalm 90, Moses asked God, "Teach us to number our days, that we may present to you a heart of wisdom." We need to be careful not to begrudge getting older, as it is a privilege denied to many. Live each day to the fullest. As the reality of death draws near, many people begin to think about their destiny. And if one doesn't have an understanding of eternity and what we have to look forward to, it is a great time to begin asking questions. This leads us to our third letter, E. Enrollment is always open. In preparing to enroll for Medicare, I was told I had a window of 3 months before and 2 months after my birthday to enroll in a Medicare plan. Then, each year in October, there will be a window when I can make changes to my plan to make sure I have the best coverage each year to meet my needs. In God's plan, open enrollment to be a part of His family is always available. And trust me, the benefits are out of this world. There are only 2 requirements to enroll in God's plan. First of all, we must believe in the cross. In order to enroll in God's kingdom, you must believe that Jesus lived a perfect life and that when he died on the cross, he took all the wrong things, or what we call sin, all the sins we have ever done, and in doing so offered himself as a sacrifice that God could accept on our behalf. Second, we must believe in the resurrection. You see, it's not just Jesus' death that saves us. It is what he did 3 days later that causes us not to fear death anymore. Jesus rose from the dead, claiming victory over death, and being the first to rise from the dead. When we believe in what he has provided, we have access to victory over death and assurance of going to heaven and having eternal life with him forever and ever. The book of Revelation was written by the Apostle John to give Christians who were being persecuted by the thousands each day a hope that would cause them to persevere and stay faithful to Jesus to the end. He writes of what is to come and what we have to look forward to. Listen to these words from Revelations 21, 1 through 4. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." He who was seated on the throne said, "I am making everything new." As Christians, no matter what happens in this life, no matter how you suffer, when you know Jesus, you can be assured that things will only get better. We have so much to look forward to. So I want to encourage you to sign up for this plan that God has provided for you if you haven't done so already. Don't believe the old adage that you are as old as you feel. Feelings have nothing to do with it. Remember, age is a mindset. Great benefits come from aging, and the opportunity to look forward to life ahead with Jesus is always available if you believe in the cross and the resurrection and confess your sin and belief in him. Finally, wherever you are at the perfect age. Each year is special and precious, for you shall only live it once. Be comfortable with growing older. See you next week with another word from Cornerstone.